We have a panel of phenomenal stakeholders today that each represent a facet of our community. I want to thank Kathryn Watson, Mark Southwick, and Joe Murabito for joining us today to share their perspective on how this point in time represents something unique and remarkable for Oswego County, and how their organizations, the Children's Museum representing a really critical and dynamic part of our not-for-profit community in building and growing our quality of life. Mark and the folks at Huhtamaki representing the proud history of manufacturing that we have here in Oswego County. And Joe, I think in many respects, representing a new generation of investors and business leaders, making creative and dynamic investments in the types of businesses that are giving people an opportunity and creating jobs throughout our region. So Kathryn, I want to start with you. Been so impressed with the work that you've done so far at the Children's Museum. I want to give each of you a chance to introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about where you are in your organization's trajectory, and then we'll have a chance for a couple of questions and some back and forth.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Kathryn Watson. I'm the Executive Director of the Children's Museum of Oswego. As you can all probably imagine, running a children's museum in a pandemic when most of our visitors do not understand basic hygiene has been a challenge, but I'm very pleased to share that in 2021, we had over 24,000 admissions. About 35 to 40% of those came from outside of the immediate Oswego-Fulton, Hannibal area. We were able to retain all of our staff, and we actually added some new part-time positions as well. So when I took over as executive director back in June, I knew that we needed to get really clear on our mission and on our values. I sat down with senior staff and board members. We came up with a list of values, and high on that list were accessibility and community. There is no way SEMU would have made it through the pandemic, or would continue to make it through, as an island. So in order to stabilize the museum, we looked to our community. We listened to what they needed from us, and then we worked really, really hard to give that to them. We reconnected with other organizations that serve children. We offered our expertise and shared our resources. We looked for opportunities to bring the business community back into the museum in very intentional and meaningful ways. We relaunched our mobile museum and started doing off-site programming so we could participate in community events. We connected with educators, and we created virtual resources for them to meet their needs. So in summary, we re-engaged with our neighbors and our community, and we simultaneously developed new streams of revenue. So we weren't so reliant on admission sales. The ripple effect of this, though, has been that the museum has seen boosted admission sales, boosted special event bookings, birthday parties. We doubled our community partnerships in 2021. Our plan is to double them in 2022 as well. So whether it's having us come out and do mobile museum for your employees, or purchasing admission passes to give out to customers, or it's you coming into the museum to run programming, this has all simultaneously expanded our reach and deepened our roots in our community. So a lot of people don't understand why they should care about a children's museum as an adult, but our entire staff is now trained to share our unique value at every opportunity. And as we've been able to demonstrate our value both to the development of children, but also as an organization in Oswego that contributes to foot traffic, sales, and the stabilization and growth of downtown, people have responded to that. So getting clear on where we were going as an organization and who we are, that propelled us forward. Reconnecting and listening to our community and responding to their needs is what I believe has allowed us to see this amount of growth in such a short amount of time. Thank you, Rob.
Awesome, Kathryn. I'll just say, put simply, the value of an organization like the Children's Museum is a community like Oswego can't thrive if families don't have reasons to stay here. And as a parent, I can attest firsthand to how important assets like the Children's Museum are. And I've been around long enough to know that sometimes you bet on leaders. I've had a chance to get to know Kathryn a little bit. You're doing an amazing job. I know you need and want additional support from the community. So those of you who are listening, I encourage you, if you haven't taken a chance to get to know Kathryn, if you haven't visited the museum recently, take a minute, reach out, say hello, see how you or your business might be able to help and partner and engage your employees in the great program that's going on. So Kathryn, thanks so much. Mark, I want to turn to you next. The business you're in is an interesting one and certainly challenging even in normal times. And amidst the pandemic, the level of additional challenges that have been thrown your way and at Huhtamaki have been pretty remarkable. But yet you've navigated it as you always have. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your recipe for success, the things that you guys have been experiencing over the last year, and what leaves you optimistic about the future here in Oswego County.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. First of all, thank you, Katie, and hello, everybody. I'm Mark Southwick. I'm the plant manager here at Fulton Huhtamaki operation. I've been with Huhtamaki for 15 years at this site, and through my tenure, I've really enjoyed the relationship and support from the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber of Commerce, and I applaud the great work they do every day on the behalf of our community. So, thank you for that. A little bit about Huhtamaki. Many of you probably drive by. We're a global company. We manufacture food packaging. Our operation in Fulton, New York is one of 18 across all of North America. We have 36 manufacturing sites across the globe. We currently have 520 employees on site. We produce about 3.5 million pieces of packaging a day. That results in about 100 truckloads of finished goods leaving our facility weekly. And that goes across all of North America as well as across the globe. And really, Rob, the way we faced the challenges of 2021 is really grounded in our core values of care, dare, deliver. For care, we worked with our employees and met the challenges of the pandemic and really worked hard to keep everybody safe here at the plant as well as in our community. For dare, we had to dare ourselves to try new things, specifically alternative raw materials. Supply chain has been very challenging, and we had to get creative and find alternative materials for us to make our products through. And for delivering, we had to work very closely with our customers to deliver the products they needed when they needed it to prevent major stockouts on the grocery shelf. Sure, everyone can tell when they go to the grocery store now, there's moments and times products are not available, and that supply chains that restarts is challenging, and we are delivering results. And if you've noticed in the ice cream aisle, I'm proud to say we have prevented that from any major stockouts with our customers. I'm optimistic with what I'm seeing both in the county as well as across the globe. As we restart, as we get back to some more normalcy, that 2022 will be another transition year. But I think in a year from now, we're all going to be in a much better position. I'm excited for the journey that we're underway now. Thank you, Rob.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. And it is really awesome to think about the fact that the products that are made right here in Fulton have a chance to be spread out all across North America. I'm always inspired by the breadth of business connections that we have here in the region and just how much we impact the world outside of our geographic footprint. When we were joining the panel this morning, getting ready for today's meeting, and Joe jumped on, he sort of jokingly asked, "Why am I here again?" And it didn't dawn on me until just now that part of what we've been trying to do organizationally over 15, 20 years is redefine what it means to be a leader in our community. And nothing against Mark and Huhtamaki and companies like Novelis and our larger employers, but we need more people pulling in the same direction. We need organizations like CMU and Joe, we need investors like you who are helping to drive and change our community and pull us forward. So I'd love for you to tell folks a little bit about yourself. Every time we speak, I learn of a new business that you've started or are starting. I love the creativity and the dynamism. So tell people a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now here in 2022.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. The why question, it was sort of a joke, but not really a joke. I think that the energy on the call is great. The video was great. And I listened to people speaking about what they're doing. Everybody does something different. But I do think there's a lot of common ground in terms of why people do things, especially some of the leadership that we've seen and heard today. You got to go back to why, like, why are you doing something? And for me, I go back 25 years. I started playing the piano for some vets in the Syracuse VA hospital. it was the trigger point for me to make a decision to go into long-term care. I knew I wanted to be in healthcare and healthcare management. So I always go back to that place, playing the piano for the guys upstairs at the VA hospital. It was a decision-making pivot point for me to get into long-term care. So over the last 25 years, I've been a nursing home administrator, working for a few companies between Massachusetts and the Hudson Valley. I'm born and raised in Oswego. Love all the energy and the opportunity. It's a great word, you know. Ed used the word opportunity and value. It's the other word I heard here. So being born and raised here, coming back and beginning my healthcare, you know, business as an owner operator in 2012 with one business. In 2022, there are 8 facilities in 5 counties that we either own or operate, about 1,000 beds, about 1,000 employees. And the last 2 years, as everyone can imagine, in healthcare, you know, healthcare has been and continues to be carrying a great burden. It's inspiring on a lot of levels, and it's very, very difficult on a lot of other levels. So, you know, I think that the opportunity is still there and continues to be there in healthcare. It's a people business. I'm in a people business. Been so for 25 years. A lot of the variables change, and especially in the last 2 years, you learn to be flexible, and you learn to be tolerant, and you learn to recenter yourself and find balance. I mean, I hear a lot of these things in people's words, and it just on this phone call where you got to go find your center, and you got to realize why you're doing things, no matter what's happening around you. You have to go back to, why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing what you should be doing? I believe that I am, right? And all of the people that I hear, I believe they're doing what they should be doing. That's what they decided to do, and they stick with it no matter what happens. So there's a lot of great words floating around that are much more than words that I'm hearing, and it's very motivating. Resilience, tolerance, flexibility, persistence, opportunity, value, all of those things matter, especially when you can get beyond your intellectual self and get into your emotional self, and you own those things. When you own those things, you can do what you want. So, and in the midst of all of that healthcare growth, Rob's been there, and some folks have been there too. You know, my wife and I opened Strigo Vineyards out in left field. Why'd you do that? You know, you can do what you want. You have to figure it out, and you work together, and you bring energy. Whatever you put attention to, you can make change with, and that's how I feel. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak about that.
I love it, Joe. And I think what resonates the most with me is just the sentiment I pick up from all of the panelists and a lot of the discussion already today. And in conversations I have with business leaders and owners here, every time I'm up, is just this commitment to action, right? To actually going out, let's go, getting out there and doing it instead of talking about it, instead of bemoaning the fact that something isn't happening. The people that we're featuring today, the people that we put in the video, the people that are engaging with us, every one of you is out there doing something. So we've got a very tight script and we've got a timeline that we got to meet, but I do want to give each one of you a chance to ask a question. You know, our mission at the end of the day, what motivates me, my why, if you will, Joe, our mission is to create a region where business thrives and all people prosper. And in each one of you, in different ways, are contributing to that. And I'd love to ask each one of you to talk and share one thing that you're doing that contributes to that mission, and one thing that you are excited about for 2022. And we'll wrap the panel up, and we'll bring our program to a close. Kathryn, maybe start with you.
Thank you. So I think one of the ways that our mission aligns is that we're supporting the development of the next generation of business leaders in Oswego. So, you know, one of our core values is that we honor children's contributions to our community while helping them find their place in it. But we also help that we're helping we're helping the community see the value of investing in children and supporting the next generation of our city. So for 2022, I think the thing I'm most excited about is a research initiative we have. We're going to be evaluating our water table exhibit and its effectiveness at teaching engineering behaviors in children both with and without disabilities. So we're really excited to get some solid data on our site-specific exhibits and then be able to use that data to improve and move forward.
Awesome. I love it. Mark, one thing that you're doing that contributes to that mission of a place where business thrives and all people prosper, and one thing you're excited about for 2022.
Yeah, so community engagement, core value of Huhtamaki, that care value, and the basic principle: strong community results in strong employees, strong business. So that is something that I think aligns very tightly. The programs that align to that, I think the Fulton Block Builders activities they have going on in our community, really excited to see the growth of that. The Fulton DRI initiative, those are two things that I can think of very quickly. They're changing visibly our community. And to me, that's just the fruits of the labor that has been many years coming. So I'm really excited to see those two projects continue and develop into 2022. And I just congratulate the community on that, because all the effort it took to get to this moment.
Love it, Mark. All right, Joe, bring us home.
Okay, so Elemental Management Group and group of facilities with my partners, we have focused on two things, two statements that, tagline value. These have been sort of growing and have been incorporated in everything we've been doing, and increasingly so over the last several years. But promoting the success of others is one, and then life in balance is the second. So those two statements, and there are others, but those two in particular are things that we go back to find our foundation again and our directions, our barometer of things. Are we helping to promote the success of other people through a lot of avenues? Working with residents, families, and patients, you help them succeed to be as independent as they can as they get care. You work to try to recruit and retain employees and staff in a really dynamic environment. It's not easy for anyone to do this right now, and there's so many moving parts. You help one another, you secure employment, you try to provide employment that will help people succeed in their goals in life. The life in balance part of it, just quickly, there's so much to it. Katie touched on it with her walks. We all have those parts of our lives that we need to re-engage in terms of our own balance. You can't be imbalanced at work if you're not balanced at home. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. I don't care what business you're in. So for me, 2022 is about, engaging people again, not virtual. Like, this is great and we need to do it. However, healthcare is a people business. Healthcare is not a commodity. There does need to be a certain amount of scale in today's business world, period. But there is a point where there's too much scale, where you lose yourself. So where's your balance? How do you engage people again on a deeper level, at a community level? Segueing into some of your other points, the community part of it. It's not a global community or a state. This is your local community, your strength and your family and your friends. In all of your business, it's right around you. You engage locally with people, and that's where your success comes from. So it's like, go real, Oswego, and I put real on the back of it. So go real in 2022.
I love it. All three of you, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for the leadership you're providing. I'll just say, before turning it back over to Katie, on behalf of Center State CEO, I am deeply appreciative of the faith and confidence that the Oswego and Fulton business communities have placed in us over the last 5 years. You took a chance on partnering with us. We hope that you see the value in that. I know that organizationally we are stronger for the partnership that we have, and we're grateful every day for the opportunity to work with you and on your behalf.